Excuse any diegetic audio. These are Stormcast Equilitors? Knights Arcanum. That's what they are. Knights Arcanum on Celestial Dragon Liches. Sort of a wizard priest on a giant lizard cat. These are models I've been painting for much longer than I meant to, but they're done as of last night, and I keep meaning to do some sort of hobby tube thing with the models I'm painting, but every time I sit down to record it, everything goes in a different direction. Things don't work, parts fall off, paint's bead up or dried out, and it's just... Anyway, so here's the little retrospective. These are painted with the paints from the Mortal Realms magazine, I think, other than the primer. They're primed in an airbrush black paint, and then maybe zenithaled with Molotov's gray blue, and then I'm doing the Grisaille slap chop whatever thing with Corax white, and then just proceeding to paint them normally. So the big fun innovation with these particular ones was that I used dry brushing across the blue armor and red flesh of the beasts to try and fill that in really quickly. You can sort of see how it didn't quite get all the way in there on the legs. If you look, if you don't look, it was quick, and the armor and the main flesh of the beasts was done really quickly. That was cool. I also tried to dry brush highlight things like the claws and the spines, and that all worked. And what really looked cool was coming in with Rakarth flesh and picking out these scale things. Also, with this scheme that's using just the paints in the Mortal Realms magazine, I've also been using Rakarth flesh on the cloth, and afterwards the cloth will get a thick wash of Agrax Earthshade, and then it'll get a gentle sort of overbrush, dry brush highlight with White Scar. I'm loving this recipe for cloth. Most of the rest of this was Corn Red or Mephiston Red, the darker of the two reds that were in the magazine. The metals are just the Balthazar Gold with Lead Belcher dry brushed on top. The skin is one of the oranges, but I'm not sure which one. And the marbly stone stuff is, again, I think it was Corax. No, it was Administratum Gray, then with the Agrax Earthshade wash, and then the White Scar highlight again. Not really happy with the beards, so I'm not going to talk about those. And the camera's in focus. Okay, yeah. What is fun is the sculpted bases. Like this character comes with her own base, and it's all sculpted, cool. So to reproduce or impersonate these, I've used a green stuff roller textured rolling pen around the middle of the base, and then added polyfilla, the sort of grout lumpy compound, to the edge of the base to sort of show the, like how here she has this sort of texture of dirt. So I've added texture of dirt, and after the polyfill is down, I jab it with one of those horsehair brushes. These things, horsehair brush, hog's hair brush, hogtail brush, whatever it's called. That's great for taking the smooth wall filler joint compound and turning it into debris. The little leaves are just sesame seeds. That's a really cool hack. Um, and the vines are dimensional fabric paint mixed with a lot of cornstarch and then extruded through a very narrow but blunt syringe. And I'm loving it. The vines are a nightmare, but I'm loving them. I mean, getting the mixture in and out of the syringe and then not destroying the syringe by this little hobby art syringe by leaving what amounts to glue in it hard. Puffy fabric paint seems to be like something like a PVA glue that doesn't shrink when it dries, which is interesting. Anyway, so that was all done before the paint. The bases were, I constructed the bases and glued everything together before I started painting. I think that held on with epoxy compounds. So yet another thing that's not in the Mortar Roll magazine. Anyway, held it on. The rims of the bases are just, I'm just leaving as is with the zenithal and the dry brushing. This guy's got a little lizard. Lizard. And then the stonework, that's just the Coelia green shade, which is now, I think, gone out of production. The vines are just Baneblade brown with Agrax earth shade dropped on, and then the green stuff is done last. And poof, we magically get the guys. The bits of magic are just painted back over with gray or white, and then apply the oxide, Nilionth oxide, and you get a good little gray thing. That's how I did most of the ghost flesh for the Night Haunt from the magazine. I've done all the Night Haunt from the magazine. Well, I've done all the Night Haunt. I haven't done the Mortis engine. I really want to get the Necromancer out of that and make a character for Cursed City. So there's my little unscripted live tour of the models I've been working on since September, which I am recording now live to you because I do not want to deal with Orca Slicer. Maybe I'll go paint a... They're fighting. They can't be fighting. Maybe I'll go paint a little dog or something. Good night.